Victoria sits on a cold park bench, her hands trembling as she clutches a worn paper bag. The city moves around her, oblivious, relentless. Jeff sleeps beside her, his coat pulled tight against the morning chill. She stares at the ground, and in her mind, a voice whispers with cruel clarity. I built us. I called it expectation. And now we live in its ruins. The words echo. She closes her eyes. The park dissolves. Suddenly, she's standing in a different time, her old dining room. Gleaming hardwood floors, crystal chandeliers catching the afternoon light. She's younger, sharper, dressed in tailored elegance. Guests fill the room, their laughter warm and effortless. Victoria moves among them like a queen. Her smile practiced, her posture impeccable. She commands respect without asking. She curates perfection without effort. Her son, Emmanuel, stands in the corner, watching her. She doesn't notice. The memory fractures. The chandelier dims. The guests vanish. Victoria opens her eyes. The park bench is real. The cold is real. Jeff is real. And the woman she used to be? Gone. She whispers to herself, I built us. But what she built has crumbled. Victoria doesn't see Isabella enter the café. She only feels the shift, the way Jeff's body tenses beside her on the bench. The way his gaze follows something across the street. Victoria turns her head slowly. Through the café window, she sees her. Isabella. Victoria's breath catches. It's been years, but she would know that woman anywhere. The same confident stride. The same calm expression. Isabella orders coffee, unaware she's being watched. Or perhaps she is aware and simply doesn't care. Victoria's hands ball into fists. Rage floods her chest, hot and suffocating. Her. Of all people. Her. The woman who destroyed them. The woman who took Emmanuel away. The woman who. But the thought stops. Because Isabella is thriving. And Victoria is not. Jeff touches her arm gently. Don't, he says. But Victoria can't look away. Because the cruelest truth is this: Isabella is not their enemy anymore. She is their only hope. Victoria's pride screams at her to run, to refuse, to die in dignity. Rather than crawl to the woman she blames for everything. But hunger is louder than pride. And shame is louder still. She stands. Jeff tries to stop her, but she shakes him off. She crosses the street, her legs unsteady, her heart pounding. When she reaches the café door, she hesitates. Her reflection stares back at her in the glass, gaunt, hollow-eyed, unrecognizable. This is what I've become. She pushes the door open. Isabella looks up. For a moment, their eyes meet. There's no shock in Isabella's gaze. Only something worse: pity. Victoria wants to scream. Instead, she whispers, I need your help. The words taste like ash. Isabella's home is modest but warm. Soft lighting. Clean floors. The smell of tea and bread. Victoria sits on the couch, her body rigid, her hands gripping the armrest as if it's the only thing keeping her upright. Isabella sets a cup of tea in front of her. Victoria doesn't touch it. For a long time, neither of them speaks. The silence is thick, suffocating. Victoria stares at the floor. Her jaw clenched, her mind racing with justifications, defenses, accusations. But Isabella doesn't accuse. She simply waits. And that waiting, calm, patient, unbearable, cracks something inside Victoria. I blamed you, Victoria says finally, her voice low and raw. For years, I blamed you. For everything. For Emmanuel leaving. For our lives falling apart. She stops. Her throat tightens. I blamed you because it was easier than admitting the truth. Isabella's expression doesn't change. She doesn't interrupt. Victoria continues, her words coming faster. Now, tumbling out like a confession she's held back too long. I drove him away. My son. I pushed him and demanded perfection until he couldn't breathe. And when he left, I told myself it was your fault. That you poisoned him against me. That you stole him. Her voice cracks. But you didn't steal him. I gave him away. With my cruelty. My pride. My need to control everything. She looks up at Isabella, her eyes wet. I blamed you because blaming you was easier than admitting. I drove my son away. The words hang in the air. Victoria's chest heaves. She feels stripped bare, exposed in a way she hasn't been in decades. Isabella finally speaks. Her voice is soft but steady. I know. Victoria flinches. I knew you blamed me, Isabella continues. And I let you. Because I understood. You needed someone to hate. And I could carry that. Victoria shakes her head. Why? Why would you? Because Emmanuel needed me too, Isabella says simply. And because I loved him enough to let you hate me. Victoria crumbles. The last wall inside her collapses. She buries her face in her hands and weeps, not quietly, not gracefully, but with the full, ugly weight of years of pride, rage, and regret. Isabella doesn't comfort her. She doesn't offer platitudes. She just sits there, steady and present, letting Victoria break. Later, Victoria sits alone in Isabella's guest room. The house is quiet. Through the thin walls, she can hear Jeff moving in the other room. His footsteps slow and careful. She thinks of him, her husband, the man who has carried her weight for so many years without complaint. Jeff never blamed her, not when they lost everything. Not when they ended up on the streets. Not even when she lashed out at him in her bitterness and despair. He simply stayed. Victoria remembers a moment, a small one, years ago. They were still in their home, but the walls were closing in. Bills piled up. Calls from creditors. Emmanuel's absence a constant ache. She had snapped at Jeff over something trivial. He had said nothing. Just looked at her with tired, sad eyes and left the room. She found him later, sitting on the edge of their bed, his head in his hands. She didn't apologize. She never did. But now, in the stillness of Isabella's home, she feels the weight of that silence. All the times Jeff absorbed her anger. All the times he carried her pride when she couldn't. She stands and walks to his room. He's sitting on the bed, staring out the window. Jeff, she says quietly. He turns. His face is worn, but his eyes are gentle. Victoria sits beside him. For a long moment, she says nothing. Then, slowly, she reaches for his hand. He doesn't pull away. I'm sorry, she whispers. Jeff's grip tightens. His eyes glisten. I know, he says. They sit together in the quiet, two people who have survived the ruins of pride and found each other still standing. The final move happens quietly. Isabella drives them to Casa de los Aves, a modest community shelter on the edge of the city. It's clean, simple, filled with people rebuilding their lives. Esteban meets them at the door. He's younger than Victoria expected, with kind eyes and a firm handshake. Welcome, he says. We're glad you're here. Victoria nods. She doesn't have words yet. Over the following days, she begins to settle. She helps in the kitchen. She talks to others who have lost as much as she has or more. She learns their names, their stories. One evening, she stands in the common room and looks at the clock on the wall. It's old, simple, its hands moving steadily forward. She thinks of Emmanuel. She wonders if he knows where she is. If he cares. But for the first time, the thought doesn't bring rage or shame. Instead, she feels something quieter. Softer. Maybe he'll be proud, she thinks. Not of what I was. But of what I chose to become. She chose forgiveness. She chose humility. She chose grace. And that, she realizes, is the only legacy worth leaving. The clock ticks. Victoria breathes. And for the first time in years, she feels peace.